you've had a range of experiences in teaching, overseas as well, including Armenia and Japan. What was it like for you to kind of be the other, to not speak the local language, to be in a different culture?
Well, it was difficult, and that was actually a really good lesson for me, because they were so welcoming and willing to move slowly and help me transition to living in Armenia, and so very gracious about my Armenian. And in Japan as well, they were very nice as well, but I really felt othered in Japan, partly because I'm extremely tall, and so it was just constant people staring at me every single moment of my life. And then also, I knew I would eventually get to come home. And that's one of the big things that I have utilized in my experiences working with immigrant and refugee students, is that I know what it's like to go, but I don't know what it's like to have to stay. I chose to go to Armenia, I chose to go to Japan, and then I came home. And most of my kids don't get to come home. And so every day I remember that, and I remember that feeling of being different, and that this isn't going to change for my kids. And so it's my responsibility to ensure that they know that we love them, that we know that they're welcome, and that they belong, and we want them to be here with us.
You work with a lot of children who have seen a lot of trauma, and yet you talk so much about hope.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Well, I think because I work directly with these students. I had one student who came in at 20, and he'd cut hair for the U.S. Army in Iraq, and when he came here, we enrolled him in cosmetology school. He managed to get his cosmetology license and is a practicing cosmetologist, and this is all after his father was murdered by terrorists in front of him and he was shot himself. Like, these kids have gone through tremendous trauma, and yet here they are, focused and excited. They come to school, they're respectful, they all have dreams to give back to the communities that welcomed them. I think that's hope.
Since you've won the award, this national award, you've been described as a teacher without a classroom.
Yes.
But I'm assuming you stay in touch with your students.
I do, yeah.
How do you think things have changed for them?
It's really like a social change that's happened. And some of the kids, there's been a lot more conflict within our hallways, and by conflict I mean like some xenophobic behaviors. So kids born in the United States will yell racial slurs at some of our kids. They will say things like, "Go back to your country." But that said, my kids are still hopeful. I just received yesterday a video from one of my students who was another of the teachers, made a little video for me, and he said, "Miss Manning, I just want you to know that I just got accepted at Eastern Washington University and I'm going to graduate." And so there's a lot of darkness, but there's a lot of light. And these kids are so resilient and hopeful, and that's why we do this. That's why we fight this fight.
You've given so many public interviews, so many speeches, and it's still so emotional.
Yeah, well, of course. These are beautiful kids. Like, that's why I do what I do. I love, since the first day I walked into a classroom back in 2001 as the lead teacher, from the first day, and I looked out at my kids, and I saw just the future and how much these kids, like, everything's in front of them. And I get to be the one that helps them believe in themselves. And that's such an honor and such a responsibility. We shouldn't just stay in our classrooms. We're teachers. We should be speaking for all kids.